In North Korea, citizens may choose a hairstyle only from an official list approved by the state, and individual styling is sometimes treated as rebellion. Wearing jeans is prohibited because denim is associated with capitalism and influences from across the ocean, which automatically places wearers outside the norm. The Juche calendar counts years from the birth of Kim Il-sung, and official dates and holidays are subordinated to this principle of national memory and ideology. Every dwelling must obligatorily possess portraits of the leaders, which residents care for and revere as sacred symbols of state loyalty. Citizens receive special cloths for cleaning the portraits, intended solely for the care of the leaders' images, which underscores the ritual of their adoration. The rules provide for mandatory periods of national mourning, during which weddings, festivities, and the consumption of alcohol in public places are forbidden. All televisions are configured to receive only state channels, which ensures an informational monopoly and control over received content. Loudspeakers broadcasting announcements operate in homes and workplaces from dawn until night, which limits privacy and prevents escape from propaganda. Citizens' access to the internet is replaced by the National Kwangmyong Network, completely isolated from global information traffic. There is no independent press. All newspapers and publications serve as a propaganda machine and are controlled by the apparatus of power. Possessing and listening to South Korean music is strictly forbidden, and breaking the ban can result in imprisonment. Mandatory self-criticism sessions force citizens to make public confessions and admit to alleged mistakes before the collective, which violates intimacy. Planning marriages requires the parties' consent, and state approval becomes a condition for entering a union, which deprives personal relationships of privacy. Most of society cannot own private cars, which strengthens control over mobility and distinguishes the party elite as privileged. Travel between cities is subject to restrictions, and ordinary trips require special permits from administrative authorities, which can be arbitrary. Leaving the country is practically impossible because traveling abroad is treated as treason, and escape is threatened with severe penalties. Mobile phone networks operate only within the country and are subject to censorship, which makes contact with people outside the system and the flow of information impossible. The right to choose a profession practically does not exist, as the state assigns jobs according to political assessments and the needs of the central plan. In schools, children are taught the cult of personality and the Juche ideology, together with mandatory songs and enactments shaping national identity. Acts of disrespect towards symbols, even accidental damage to a publication bearing the leader's image, carry the risk of criminal sanctions. Propaganda posters conveying party slogans and ideological principles must hang in every institution and in many homes. Films and the arts are subject to censorship, and all productions must glorify the party and the leader, rejecting critical content or foreign influences. School curricula include mandatory lessons on the history of the Kims, interwoven with other subjects and shaping young people's worldview. Possessing the Bible and other religious books is forbidden, and religious practices are organized only under state-controlled conditions. The social system is based on informing, in which every citizen may be obliged to report on neighbors' activities. Special zones and luxury districts are intended only for the elite, and ordinary citizens are forbidden to enter them and have limited access. Political loyalty exams determine further education and careers, including political tests and declarations of faithful attitude toward the party. Participation in elections is compulsory, but the list of candidates offers practically no alternative, and voting merely confirms political unity. Leaders' birthdays become the largest state holidays, celebrated with more splendor than traditional cultural festivals. Participation in parades is compulsory and requires long preparations that absorb participants' time and energy and constitute a ritual of mass mobilization. Regulations on dress and fashion forbid short skirts for women and colorful elements, imposing a conservative aesthetic canon. Foreign hairstyles and tattoos are banned, and displays of individualism in appearance are treated as contrary to collective values and immediately publicly stigmatized. All citizens are engaged in compulsory community work, including road building, cleaning, and seasonal tasks performed without any compensation. The Songbun system divides society into classes according to loyalty, deciding access to services, jobs, and opportunities for social advancement. Although the private market is officially banned, it operates as covert activity, to which the state responds with reprisals when detected. The ban on watching Western films and series is strictly enforced, and those caught face confiscation of media and legal and administrative penalties. Only propaganda films are screened in cinemas, intended to shape attitudes and confirm official historical narratives. Pyongyang and other privileged residential areas are reserved for selected families. Others have no right to settle in the capital. Land ownership is practically excluded because land formally belongs to the state and citizens use allocated usufructs. In some regions, bans on women wearing trousers have been imposed, illustrating the extent of moral control in local regulations. The obligation to lay flowers and pay homage at the Kim's monuments is regularly enforced as an expression of patriotic duty. Language control prohibits the use of foreign-derived words, which restricts freedom of communication and marginalizes international exchange of scientific terms. Private meetings must be reported to the authorities, and larger gatherings without permission constitute an offense against public order. Ideological briefings take place in workplaces 2 to 3 times a week, intended to reinforce workers' loyalty to the regime. Criticism, even whispered at home, can be reported by neighbors and lead to arrest, creating an atmosphere of constant fear.